Hi everyone, it's Arlene from Arlene's Creations. Thanks for joining me today. And today I'm just going to show you how I basically bought these cocktail napkins at Michael's yesterday. And they were originally $4. They were for $3 for the pack. And I really love this buffalo check with, the Merry Christmas on it. And I wanted to make a little sign, to put somewhere in my kitchen. So I had this piece of scrap wood that is actually the perfect size. So I prepped this already. I just sanded it lightly to get it a little bit sanded. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Waverly plaster, which is almost like a white. It's a little bit of an off-white. I don't have any white left, so I'm just going to use this color. And I'm just going to paint around the edges and on the side a little bit. I don't have to do the whole middle because I'm going to be covering it. But I just want to get some of this painted. This paint dries fairly fast. So I'll take about maybe 20 minutes for it to dry, and then we could right away get on to the next step. I have another project I'll be filming today as well. That's going to be a photo transfer onto a piece of wood. So I'll be doing that one later and probably putting it up within the next couple days, because once I put my photo transfer onto this wood, I have to wait 24 hours. So stay tuned for that one. That's going to make a really nice gift. That's what I'm making. I'm making gifts for family members, with photographs. Everyone knows that I've been out of work since last October. So over a year now. So I'm making people their gifts this year instead of spending a fortune like I usually do. And I think people appreciate handmade gifts a little bit better anyhow. And it's something they'll always treasure, that they could say, oh, Arlene made this, or Aunt Arlene made this, or my sister-in-law made this. So I was going to put my gloves on because I've been doing so many projects and I'm constantly washing my hands from the paint and the glue, and my hands are getting like really rough and dry because it's winter time. And no matter how much of my cream I make it myself. As soon as I put it on, I seem to be washing my hands again and it comes right off. So it's like a vicious cycle. See? Full of paint. Alright, so I'm just going to let this dry. Everything's full of paint. I'm just going to let this dry, and then I'll show you the next step. I'll be back. Alright, I'm back. So, while I was waiting for this to dry, I was starting another project back there, which I will show you the video to what I'm doing with that. But, so what I did here now was I took the napkin and I cut out my square. But I don't want it to be like a perfect square. So what I'm going to do is, this is the only lighter I could find actually, is go around and just go like that with the edges. And literally as soon as it lights, I'm going to put it out. Just to give it that little look at the edge. And you don't want to do too much. You don't want to go on fire like that. Especially by the word. So as soon as it lights, you want to just put it out. See? Like so. So it gets that nice little edge. So that's why I decided to paint the whole square. So I did that as well. So I'm just going to go around and do that to the whole thing. See, I like that look. And like I said, when you come to the lettering, or whatever your design is on your napkin, be very careful. You don't want to burn into that. All right. So maybe a little bit more right here. Okay. There we go. Maybe a little more right here. All right, so I think that's good for now. Maybe one more up there. All right, so now that that's done, and my hands are all black, I have a wet rag here. Let me just wipe them. Okay. Now what you want to do is you want to take the two pieces, you want to peel it apart. Actually, there's 3 on this one. There's 3 layers, so you just want to get your top layer and discard that. Now what I'm going to do is pour some Mod Podge into my little cup here. And I'm going to take my brush. I'm just going to brush some on. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay down my image there. And then go over the whole thing with Mod Podge. And wherever there's like some pieces that came off, just get them off. And then you could always go around it with paint again if you want. So I'm just going to put a generous amount. Not too generous. You don't want to tear the paper. But if there's a couple of crinkles, that's okay, because when it dries, it'll probably look like a nice effect. Now, if you have thinner wood, because this is pretty thick, if you had thinner wood, you could probably, well, like little shadow box type things, you could make a series of these with different sayings, different napkins, and, you know, put them on a wall, display them on a wall, you know, like in a group. That would look really nice. Alright, so you don't want to play with it too much because you don't want your napkin to tear. And I'm going to wait for this to dry. And then I might go with the sandpaper just around the white part of the wood to distress it a little bit. So once that dries, I'll show you how it looks and where I'm going to put it in my kitchen. I'll be back. Alright, it's still a little bit wet down here, but I'm impatient. I have a lot to do today. So what I want to do is I just want to rough up with the sandpaper or if you have a sanding block, just the tops and the sides a little bit. To give it a more rustic feel, as you can see. And just in random spots, it doesn't matter. See how the wood comes through? I don't know if you're catching that on camera. Now, it probably would have looked really nice if I would have stained the wood underneath first, then painted it white. Then when I sanded it, the wood, like a darker wood, would have came from underneath. But I could always go over it with my stain. I'll show you, because I did that to another piece and it actually looked nice. So it's still wet here, but like I said, I want to get this done. Just take a little off down there, maybe some up here. I think I got some of the sawdust on here. It's still wet. Not wet, but tacky. That's alright, I'll go over it again. Actually, it's like a little glossy, even though that's matte. I don't like that look. So what I could do is just make the actual napkin look a little distressed as well. So I'll try that. If not, I'll just put more Mod Podge over it. I think I'm going to get my stain, and where I'm getting the paint off, I'm going to put my brown stain. I think that'll add something nice to it. Alright, so let me finish sanding where I want it sanded, and then I'll show you the next step. I'll be back. Alright, so I distressed it how I want it distressed, and what I'm going to do now is just take a paper towel, and I have my my wood stain here in the Jacobine. I love that color. I either use Jacobine or Cognac. Those are my two go-to colors. And I'm just going to put a little stain on the napkin, and I'm just going to go over it so it gets the wood. And even if it gets on the white and I can't get it off, I don't care. I like that look. It looks like it's very old and aged. So I'm just going to continue to do that and then wipe it off. You know, and it gets that stark white off of it. And see how it looks more distressed and more aged? I like that better. So again, put more stain up here. I'll get into that wood real good. I should have gloves on for this. But my hands are already a mess and filthy, so who cares? Get a new napkin. Alright, so that's good. So see how it just aged it? So I'm loving the way that looks. Now I have my hot glue gun. I have this ribbon here. This big thick black ribbon. I would have done like a buffalo check ribbon or something, but then it's too much check. So I have my hot glue gun plugged in and ready to go. And I made a bow from the ribbon, and I'm just going to put a touch of glue on the back. And add it right here. And there we go, voila, it's done. So I'm happy with the way it came out. I'm going to display it downstairs somewhere in my house. I'm not sure where. I think on my bar area. That is not done for Christmas yet. And when I do, I'll just take a picture quick and edit at the end of the video. And I appreciate everyone for watching. Again, if you're not subscribed, please hit that subscription button. Please hit that notification bell. I do have at least 4 or 5 more videos coming up for Christmas ideas for decor for your home. And I appreciate everybody watching. Thanks, everybody. Everybody have a blessed day. And I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye now.